Hi, my name is Jay, and for today's video, I'm going to share my January and February book wrap-up. So I never got to upload my January book wrap-up, so I'm gonna go ahead and roll to that clip, and then we will show my February book wrap-up right after. Much like my favorites video, I haven't done a book wrap-up in a while. I am also wearing a hat because it is hair washing day and my hair is oily and it is visible on the camera, so okay, hat it is. Jumping into my book wrap up for January, I read 3 books this month. Really trying to read 4 books a month to get my goal going of 50 books for the whole year. But it's fine, it's cool. I got to 3, which is close enough. The first book I read was something that I was reading in December, kind of on and off, because it was taking me a while to get through it, and it is Sundays on the Phone to Monday by Christine Riley. So this follows the story of the Simone family. The story starts off with Claudio and Matilda. And it follows their love story about how they met, and then it follows them through their life and their 3 kids as well as they grow up. One of the things that I loved about this book was just how beautiful the story was written. I think that the writer has a very interesting style, and how the book was formatted was kind of interesting, but ultimately it was just not the book that really kept my attention the entire time. I have this thing about books where there are some books that I read where I feel like things are happening in the story, but also at the same time things are not happening, if that makes any sense. If you have read like John Green books, excluding The Fault in Our Stars, I mean, I've only read a couple, Looking for Alaska and, whoa, brain fart, Paper Towns, and I just felt like the entire time I was reading them, I'm like, things are happening in this story, but also not. Like, I'm weird mind process, but whatever. It was kind of similar to this. It just spans, you know, a couple decades in their life, and I just found myself not really caring about the characters that much. It just did not keep my interest. I honestly feel like the only character that really got my attention was Claudio's sister, and I can't even remember her name right now because my brain is not here. But she has like mental health issues, and I feel like Christine Riley really dived into that and gave us a really good perspective of, you know, having a mental health issue, and I think that is wonderful. But that was kind of the only plus side of this book. The next book I read was It's Not You, It's Me by Carrie Cohen Hoffman, and I feel like this is definitely the kind of book that I would have enjoyed maybe in middle school, but not at this point in my life. Frankly, I was just kind of looking for a short book to read. This is less than 200 pages. I just wanted something short, simple, hopefully sweet, because it is about a romance. So it is about a girl named Zoe, and her boyfriend dumps her, and she and her friends just try to find ways to get him back. And I was just not a fan. A part of me was like, am I so out of tune with how I was maybe in high school that I can't even appreciate this book? But at the same time, and after reading through other reviews and stuff on this book after I read it, I'm like, oh, okay, it wasn't just me. I feel like if these characters were maybe in middle school instead of high school, maybe their actions would have made sense. But I'm like reading through all of the antics and all of Zoe's thought processes of the book, and I'm just like, no, don't do that, why are you doing that, stop it, kind of thing. So I'm not a fan of this one. Whenever I do book wrap-ups, I think I kind of fail to say which book was my favorite, so I will start doing that from now on. But the third and final book I read in January, and my favorite of the month, was Falling Into Place by Amy Zhang. If you have read If I Stay Before I Fall, and like any Laurie Halse Anderson books, it definitely kind of gives off those vibes. So this story follows a girl named Liz Emerson, and she is kind of like the popular girl in school. It seems like she has everything. She has the boyfriend and, you know, the cool friends and stuff like that. But ultimately, she attempts to commit suicide. and the story follows her and her kind of thoughts of how she led up to that moment. But I think what I really found interesting in this book was that it also follows the people around her. So it's told in this kind of omniscient point of view where you get to see her mom, her friends, the other people in her school, what they thought about her, and it follows their lives as well, which I always find really interesting. Whoa! Now on to the February book wrap up. So I finished 4 books in February. The first book I finished was Melissa Explains It All, Tales from My Abnormally Normal Life by Melissa Joan Hart. This is a collection of her stories from the time that she was like a child actress to her life now. I grew up watching Sabrina the Teenage Witch. It was like one of my favorite shows. Still one of my favorite shows of all time. I love Melissa Joan Hart. And it was just fun reading all of the things that she encountered growing up with like a bunch of these celebrities from like the time of like peak teen movies. It was a lot. So yeah, it was just a fun, quick read. I'm trying to venture out of just reading fiction novels. I am trying to read like autobiographies, biographies, stuff like that. So I read this one just to get my fill for February. And because it was February and Valentine's Day, it's February 14th, I tried to read more romancy books right after I finished that one. And the second book I read was Romeo and What's Her Name by Shani Petroff. It is about a girl named Emily. She has a crush on this guy, so she auditions to be in a play but ends up being the understudy. And she's this like really shy kind of girl, so she's like, okay, at least I can be the understudy and I don't really have to perform in front of people, and I can just hang out and talk to the guy that I like, and things happen. I'm so good at explaining books. I think it was just a fine, normal-esque novel. I mean, if you're expecting something super revolutionary in the book, don't. But if you are just looking for a super quick, romancy, quirky, fun kind of read, then here's the book for you. Next book I read was The Edge of Never by J.A. Redmersky. And this is about a girl named Cameron. She's living this life that she really doesn't want to live. So she sets out just nowhere. She goes on the bus and she ends up meeting this guy named Andrew. And they have some sort of connection. And they embark on this life-changing journey adventure together. This is a new adult novel. I went through a little darker route in the romancy February book goal of mine. I was severely disappointed in this book. This is a new adult novel and I've read a bunch now at this point, and I feel like if I had read this at the point where I was just starting out, then maybe I would have enjoyed it. However, I just felt like the characters were annoying and the very tropey, and I'm not one to like be super critical of tropey cliched books, because if done in a way that I like, I do enjoy them. Like Colleen Hoover can do whatever she wants and it's fantastic. But this one just kind of fell flat for me. And the last book I read this month was Monsters, A Love Story. This is about a girl named Stacy. She is a recently widowed mom of 2 boys, and she is a poet, and her book got picked up to be put into a movie. So she starts this really weird relationship with the actor and producer of the movie that her book is based on. Another super disappointing read. I did not enjoy this at all. There was absolutely no chemistry between the 2 leads, and it was just a mess, unfortunately. So I didn't have the best reading month, and I'm hoping March will be a lot better. If you want to find out more about what I thought about these books, please check out my Goodreads. I will leave a link in the description bar down below. And yeah, that's it for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next time with a brand new video. Bye!